So let's keyframe this house and have it spin around. We're going to make a couple of changes here. You can see I'm on the output and I've got it at 10%. Going to an output folder that I created in Blender folder. So I'm going to click on that because we need to give this file that's going to be created a name. 230129 today's date. Simple house test spin, and I always like to put what percent I'm rendering that. Really, it's either 10% or 100%. So the fact that this is a test spin 10%, I know that this video is going to be low quality. If you don't give it a name, you end up with a generic name that just shows the frames, and that just doesn't tell us enough to know which one is which. You can see that a while ago I did my imploding house, which I'll make a tutorial for, and I did render it at 50%. That's not usually the case. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that and save this Blender file. File, save as, and I'm already here in Blender. Remember, if you've got a bookmark, pretty easy to get here. And I've got several different ones, but 230129. Simple house test spin 10%. Let's leave that out because we can change that. And your name. So this is the Blender file with the recipe with your house all packed into it, because of course our external data is automatically packed resources. So we really don't need that collada file or folder anymore. Let's make some changes here, increasing the size of my keyframing. Now there is an entire setup for animation, but I prefer to just keep it on layout for now so that everything stays familiar and you can find what you need here and here. So first of all, we're going to change the number of frames. Let's just do a quick, simple 90 frames. So since we've changed this to 30 frames per second and 90 frames, which you can see down here at the bottom, we are now going to have 3 seconds of video that are going to be created. It's going to be pretty fast for it to spin all the way around. Now I've got a lot of empty space here. So I'm grabbing the end of that scroll bar so I can see the full 90 and be very precise with my handle here. Although really, we're just going from the beginning to the end. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning and we're going to spin our house. So we're going to click on SketchUp here. You can rename that, it's not a problem. But if you have a whole bunch of different groups, then your house wasn't all grouped together. You need a single one in order to do this. I'm going to go to Object Properties, and here's the rotation value, and we want the Z, just the Z. So we can start spinning the house, but you can see right away it is going to get cut off on the bottom. And changing the position of the camera up and down is not going to be enough, because we're just too close for a house when it is sideways like this. So let's move our camera a little bit further away. I'm going to increase that X value. Just the one number is all I need to do because I'm centered right on this red axis. Now maybe come down a little bit. So if you find the point where your house is the tallest, the greatest number of pixels top to bottom, then it's pretty easy to find, whoops, Control Z, the rotation on SketchUp that will stay inside that frame. I press 0 over here, that doesn't help me. 0 over here shows me my layout. So I've got my camera, I've got my light, and I've got my model. So if I press play here, nothing's going to happen yet because no keyframes have been set. Let's go ahead and put this rotation back to 0 and look through my camera by pressing 0 here, and I'm ready to set a keyframe or two. So we're only going to keyframe the rotation. We're not moving this SketchUp house. We're just spinning it on the Z axis, not anything crazy like that. Not for this one. So I'm going to right click. Anything that can be keyframed, when you right click, it'll show insert keyframes. And I like to just do the entire rotation. All of these numbers have just been set as keyframes. Can be done individually, but it's easiest just to keep them all there. Now I'm going to go to the end by jumping. Instead of moving and landing on 90, just click on that little end there. And what's a one full spin? 360 degrees. Now if I move this without setting that keyframe, it's not like Premiere where it just did it automatically. We have to tell it. So 360, right click, and insert keyframes. And now when I press play, it will automatically loop and spin all the way around.